Hey, everybody, this is Dr. Kevin McGovern, and today is Thursday, September 29th, which means it is time for another Prove It Live podcast. A good show for you today. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to my very handsome co-host, who will be moving studios very soon. So Mr. Mike Ferry, take it away, my friend.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for that fine introduction. Yeah,
Thanks,
I
buddy.
am. This is actually the very last podcast with this wonderful background here.
Yeah, wow.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
I will have a
we'll
new
miss it.
office. Yeah, we will. We will miss it. But not so much. Not so much. It is what it is. The new one's gonna be. I'm gonna have an entire office to myself next time. This is like a corner of like a playroom for
Gotcha.
the kid. But regardless, what is it? Episode 82.
82. Do we have any famous 82s?
Of course there are. 82. Daniel Graham, right? Old tight end for the Patriots.
Is he really famous? I mean,
absolutely.
Now we're gonna have to start talking about baseball players with those numbers, right? Because those seem to be climbing.
Yeah. It started with the 99, and it's gotten people have gone haywire. But yeah, so all but 80, so 81, all but one episode I did right here with this background, and the one was when I was away on vacation last summer, 2 summers ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
Didn't Jason Witten wear 82?
Who was that?
Jason Witten.
Maybe hard hitting Jason Witten.
Hard hitting Jason Witten. Yeah. He might have been at 82. I mean, 82 was a pretty common tight end number for a while.
What about the guy from San Francisco there back in the day, John, the receiver? Thinking, it was like Jerry Rice, Ronaldo Nehemiah, and then they had this other guy, John something or other. No, okay.
Is that Sonny in the background sneezing?
It's Sonny sneezing. Yeah, he just kind of ruins everything.
Good God, Sonny.
He's a good guy. He's working hard.
The good news. There's the good news. I am Mike Ferry, and this is the Prove It Live podcast. And we have Benjamin with us again, or our new producer fellow. And so Ben, typically, going forward, you can do the top of the order. Kevin didn't fill you in on that, obviously. Just kind of threw you to the fire, let you fend for yourself. So typically, you'll do the top of the order. And our top of the order this week, everyone knows about in the baseball world is Aaron Judge. He hit his 61st home run. He tied Roger Maris last night for the 61st, tied for the record for most in a season by a Yankee. And if you're on social media and you follow some baseball people, you'll see that it's kind of sparked another controversy or rekindled the controversy. And so a lot of people saying that Kevin, when he breaks the record, if assuming he does break it, that he will be the actual single season home run king, just completely disregarding Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa thrice. Right. I mean, so what's your take on that? I mean, you're a Yankee fan. I mean, you kind of lean in that way.
I'm actually not.
Oh, wow. Right.
Yeah. So no, Barry Bonds is the home run single season home run leader, and he is the all-time home run leader. Because in the steroid era, to just think that only 3 players were on it, which would be Clemens, Mark McGwire, well, I guess Sammy Sosa you can throw in there, and Barry Bonds, is an absolute joke. There were pitchers on it. There were position players on it. Everybody was on it. Baseball condoned it. Baseball knew it was happening. Baseball did nothing about it. So yeah, in the era he played, he is the home run champion. And as far as I know, I don't care what you're on, to literally wait on a 99 mile an hour fastball and hit it the other way 400 feet. I don't care what you're on. Steroids isn't making you do that. That's absolute talent. And that's, obviously steroids make you feel better. So you don't have maybe some people can argue it keeps your bat speed up so that you don't, you're constantly in May 1st shape. But, watching the World Series there when he hit the 2 balls off Troy Percival, one foul, and then hit the next one out of Angel Stadium. I don't know. And, if we're going to pick a player right now, Do you pick Judge or do you pick Barry Bonds right now? And the answer 99.99% of the time is Barry Bonds every time.
Absolutely. I mean, he was a better base runner. He was a better fielder. I mean, but I do disagree with you on the steroids doesn't help you hit the 99. I mean, you're stronger. You're going to swing the bat faster. The faster your bat is, the longer you get to see the pitch. So that definitely, I think, helps. But he also, I mean, he wasn't just juicing, right? I mean, hey, Ben, could you tell those guys that we're doing a podcast?
Yeah, you
But
guys
that'd be
keep
nice.
it down. Mike's telling me to tell you to keep it down.
Sorry, folks. We got some new staff, and they're not up to speed on some of our Thursday duties. So, I mean, he was like on HGH, right? So I just actually pulled this up. So Barry Bonds.
I mean, he's never tested right. He's never tested positive for any of that stuff, right?
Do you have to when your hat size goes from a 7 1/8 to a 7 3/4? Okay,
Mhm.
as a
You ever accepted
fully
the test?
grown adult. And get this, I didn't know this. His feet grew from size 10.5 to 13.
Yeah.
Well,
Like-
all right. So hold on. So I can tell you that in college I wore a 10.5, and now I have a 13 shoe.
I've been
He
size
was-
16.
He
You
was
know-
way past college age, dude. I mean, like
No, I know, but I mean to say that, yeah. I mean, yes, obviously
your feet aren't growing after you're 25.
he obviously took so. I mean, but to say that he wasn't facing pitchers that were doing the same thing, right? I mean,
I know, I agree. I don't like. I'm not sure where. Here's the thing: if that's the take, if it's Barry Bonds and he's the official home run king, and we're not going to recognize the steroid era, then why are we making any sort of big deal out of Judge? Because what's it put him like 9th on the list, right? I mean,
yeah, I mean they're really pumping home. I mean baseball saving again doesn't address it, and they keep saving face by calling it the American League record, right? Because it is.
okay.
The
Yeah, that's what they
American League
keep calling
record. They keep hounding that. And it is the American League record, but even Aaron Judge, to his credit, has said that Barry Bonds is 73 is the number.
Well, he's a humble guy. He's a humble guy.
Yeah, I mean,
Get him behind closed doors. He's probably telling people he's got a home run record.
yeah, but I mean, we're gonna have to do this. I mean, we got guys that are not in the Hall of Fame that should be. I mean, you mean to tell me Roger Clemens isn't a Hall of Fame pitcher?
Of course he is.
Barry Bonds, Alex Rodriguez, Mark McGuire, all these
I hear a lot
guys should be in the Hall of Fame.
I hear a lot about people saying, well, what if you give Aaron Judge steroids? Like, how many more is he hitting? That's like, I can't answer that for you.
No,
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah.
The dude probably is on steroids. Look at him.
I mean, he doesn't look like he hasn't taken anything. I mean, that's
Yeah.
to be honest with you. But I mean, he's like he's also 6'7". Like he doesn't even need him. He just has all that leverage.
He's a
Dude,
tight end.
He played in high school. I guess he broke the bottom part of his fibula and his ankle and didn't know it, and like played an entire basketball game with a broken leg. Like, I guess they taped him off or something. I don't know, but
No, he's definitely like a
baseball's got to do
freak
something.
athlete.
But I mean, before they do anything with Barry Bonds, they have to do something with Pete Rose, right? I mean,
It's never gonna happen though. No one's ever gonna cross that. You know what? It may happen like posthumously, right? He'll pass away, and then they're gonna show how much they really love Pete Rose by putting him in the Hall of Fame. It'll just be a joke. It's just
What
be
a
more
slap in the
grandstanding.
face.
It will be
Yeah,
a slap in the face.
but then again, is there anything in the Hall of Fame that has Pete Rose's name on it? And the answer to that is yes, right? There's artifacts of Pete Rose, so he can't be hypocritical, right?
yeah,
You can't have his baseball in there, you can't have his bat in there, you can't have his shoes in there, but not him.
right.
You know what I thought was interesting? Who's the most recent Yankee number to be retired?
Paul O'Neill. 21.
When they were talking about that, they were going through all of the retired numbers, and I didn't know that Jackie Robinson's wife, after he passed away, changed what his plaque said. It's like, how can Jackie wanted his plaque to say this, and then he passed away, and his wife changed it. Like, isn't that kind
really?
of screwed up?
I didn't know that either. Yeah,
I didn't know
Yeah.
either. Change it to what? From what to what?
I'll have to look it up. But it was something about he didn't want anything on the plaque to say about how he broke the color barrier. And then once he passed away, she put it on there.
I mean, I can kind of see that, but like, yeah, I mean, if that's his wish, because I'm guessing, at the time he probably wanted to just live, on his baseball laurels, right?
Right.
Right. Just be
player.
Jackie Robinson, the baseball player.
Yep. I mean, and by the way, the Paul O'Neill thing was kind of that sparked some controversy too. A lot of fans were not pleased with that retiring that number, saying he
Well-
wasn't deserving.
He played 9 years. He won 4 rings.
Yeah, but
He
you
hit-
could say that about like Mark Bellhorn won like 3
Right.
World Series. Is he a
I mean,
Hall
it's,
of Famer?
it's a team. It's a team. It's a team decision. So
How many numbers are the Yankees gonna have left?
that's why they've got 99 and 87 and everything else in between there. Yeah.
Are they gonna
Yeah.
retire Aaron Judge when he retires because he broke the AL home run record?
I'm sure Aaron Judge is going to be a number that might probably end up being retired. Sure, if he stays with the Yankees.
If I think he's gonna head over to the next New York team this whole season.
He could.
Yeah, he might not be a Yankee after this year, but he'd be crazy if he didn't do that. Because I'm telling you, and I'll say this and I'll say it again, he doesn't have 61 home runs if Yankee Stadium is not his home field. That right field in Yankee Stadium is an absolute joke. I mean, I don't know how many he has that way, but I saw a spray chart at some point when they were showing how, I think when he got to 60, there was plenty to right field. That was it like 210 to right field, Yankee Stadium?
It's 315 to the
209.
pole.
It's not even close to 315. That is
315 to the
completely.
pole, which is 16 feet longer than the pesky pole at 299. And then it curves eventually out to 385.
Fenway has the deepest right field in all of baseball. You know that, right?
But it's 299 down the line.
You're talking about the right field line. I'm talking about right
Correct.
field, straight away right. Yeah.
So if you can hook it, if you can master hooking it across that foul pole, then you're golden.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. But it's not easy to do.
No.
Yeah. Fenway's a left-handed hitter's ballpark, and Yankee Stadium is a right-handed hitter's ballpark. Absolutely. And I'm actually texting somebody right now. This is
It's also
one of the movers I'm trying to get.
It's also
Got it.
399 to left too. So
Camden Yards is not a hitter's ballpark.
No. Didn't they? What did they just change? Did they just
They just changed their whole left field wall.
they
bumped it
deepened
back
it,
to, like,
right?
Yeah, they backed up to like 385
because it was like 370.
something.
Yeah.
It was given up. They were giving up too many home runs, so instead of getting better pitchers, they just backed their dimensions up.
That's what they
That's
need
funny.
to do in Derek Cole pitches. They need to back everything up to 440.
Kind of true. So
The
what's
old-
Judge going
the
to do?
old
In the,
Yankee Stadium?
what do you think? So now are you going to hold Judge to the same standard, right? So he's had this big, great year. He's probably going to break the American League home run record. If he doesn't perform in the playoffs,
Yeah, it's all about under the lights, baby.
right?
You mean my Mike Trout? You mean my Mike Trout
Yeah.
philosophy? Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Okay. All right.
I mean, the
'cause-
Yankees ran Dave Winfield out of town, right? A Hall of
'Cause he-
Famer because he
right.
couldn't hit in the playoffs.
Mike Trout, and because you also have Ben doesn't know this. Ben doesn't know this yet.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Ben, I wore a Cal Ripken jersey on the show once, right? I have
there you go.
Yeah. Kevin was not too pleased. He had a lot to say about that guy. A lot to
Dude.
say about him.
It's Iron Man.
Tie the record, stuff. What? Yeah, he's an Ironman, but the guy whose record he broke died in the middle of the season.
He cannot control it. Hey, you know who didn't die? Cal Ripken Jr.
Yeah, well, he should have tied the record, stepped away, and raised money for ALS. He didn't raise a penny. Pompous prick that he is.
Man,
And he
he's
got
a good-
demoted to third base, batted like for 2 seasons, batted like 190, and actually made his team worse. Whereas
Alright.
the years during the Iron Horses streak are probably the 10 best in the history of Major League Baseball. But that's okay.
I just think
I
it's
want you to
hilarious because I've never ever heard anybody just hate Cal Ripken.
And
I just want you to say something nice. Just say something nice.
Well, then he gets out, starts a league that competes with Little League that has no pitch limits, so the kids go and blow out their arms because they're
the
playing
Ripken League.
Cal Ripken. He's quite a humanitarian.
I think they do now. I think they do.
Yeah,
have-
they do.
I'm glad for him. He's
Yeah.
got the record, and that's all he's got.
Come on,
Right?
man.
So
No
angry.
rings. He's got
Got a
nothing.
loving family.
He's got his 2181. That's it. That's all he's got.
Him and Bill.
Good
on
for him.
MLB Network.
Good for him.
Crazy.
Alright.
Isn't that funny? Like,
Yeah.
have you ever heard somebody just rail against Cal? Ripken?
Rail him. We're gonna
Thanks
hate
for
him.
ruining my day. Thank you.
You're welcome. Just tell
Never
him.
heard
Just,
one. Never heard
Just-
one bad thing. About
did
Cal
I
Ripken
did I
Jr.
lie?
Got
And
this.
I
Did
hadn't
I
either.
lie? Did I lie? Did anything untruth that I said?
I'm just so
No.
appreciative. I see
There was
that
not one. There was not one truth. Had he
2,632
tied the record,
straight games.
Had he tied the record, yeah, but he played and made his team worse because he was hurt and sucked. Had
Was
he
the
tied,
team already good?
has he tied the record? Yeah, Baltimore was good during those times.
Like,
Just ask Jeffrey Mayer. But had he tied the record, stepped away, raised money for ALS, he'd be a hero. But he was a pompous prick. I'm great. I'm Cal Ripken. I'd had the longest streak, but I got demoted. Had Mike Bordick play shortstop over me.
this keeps you
Mike
up at night.
Bordick. Mike Bordick. You got demoted for Mike Bordick, who couldn't play on my adult softball team.
But Cal had some moments. Not like he sucked. I mean,
Not like he sucked.
homered
But he was
in his
definitely-
last All-Star at bat, right? Was that
Yeah,
his
that's cool.
All-Star game? Yeah.
All I'm saying is, with all the stuff he could have done more for why Lou Gehrig stopped playing baseball, and it wasn't because he got tired.
But is that his obligation?
He's an icon in Baltimore.
Yeah, great. Baltimore, great. That's great to be an icon in.
Hey, Fells Point and down, you're good.
Place is
I
falling.
mean-
Place is murder capital of the world. But good.
Come
I'm
on.
glad he's an icon there. It's good. He needs to
Are
be
they-
in a little space.
Is Baltimore still number one?
How many rings
No,
does he
it's
have?
not.
What does he have? How many championships does he have? Oh, right, 0.
All right, so let's talk about
Moving
that for
on.
a second. We got to talk about that for a second too, because I think that's easy coming from a Yankee fan, right? But I mean, baseball is the sport where it's
Is
so
David
hard.
David Ortiz in the Hall of Fame unless he won rings? Yes or no? Answer: no. He's
Yes.
not.
Yes.
No way.
Yes,
Mm-mm.
you look at his numbers compared to every
If-
DH that ever lived.
if he'd ever played
he's at or
if-
near the top of
Dude,
every
if
one of
it's
them.
never-
going, if it's
If
going
he didn't
based
play
off
in the
your criteria,
postseason, David Ortiz is not in the Hall of Fame.
it's all hypothetical though. Because
So don't say the postseason
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It
Well, you-
matters.
It does, but
he's the best postseason hitter of all time.
yeah.
Best clutch
Right,
hitter of
but
all time.
if he's Mike Trout and doesn't play in the postseason, is he a Hall of Famer? No, he's
But
not.
I'm just saying you can't put it on Mike Trout solely on Mike Trout in the game of baseball. This isn't basketball. You got 5 guys, one guy can dominate the
I
game.
understand that, but he had
Can't
a
do that.
chance for free agency to go somewhere else, and he stayed.
He's got to wait 8 at bats for him to get his chance, right? And so it's like it's so much more of a team
Which br-
effort in that
Which
regard.
brings
I
me to
understand-
Tom Brady.
I
It's just like
understand that,
football, it's a
but
team thing, it's
Doing
team
it in the
thing.
postseason is 2, 3, 4, 5 times better than doing it in the regular season. Big deal.
But all right, but let me ask you, like, how would you rate it? I mean, all right, so quarterback in football, any player, in basketball, right? A pitcher in baseball, a position player in baseball, a
player
center in hockey. I mean, dude, like, there's like a center in hockey, any player on a basketball team, especially a
Yeah.
center.
So I think in baseball, you need like 4, maybe 5 hot players to win the World Series. 2 of them have to be pitchers, and 3 of them have to be hitters.
That's what
in
I'm saying.
basketball, one person can take a team to a championship.
But that is true.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is you have to if you're not waiting what happens in the postseason. I mean, David Ortiz is a Hall of Famer because of his performance in October.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think he's in the Hall of Fame anyway.
Dude,
because,
he's a hater. He's a hater.
I'm not I love David Ortiz, but he was clutch when it counted. It
Yeah, I
doesn't
think
count
that
in
made
game
him-
127. It counts in game 185.
right, but I think David Ortiz, I think that maybe is what locked his Hall of Fame votes up for sure. But yeah, I get the point. I'm just saying I get the point. I'm just saying that I don't know that you can put it on Trout that he's not in the playoffs. Like, that's all I'm saying.
I'm
I
not
mean, what
saying
more
it's
can
not-
the guy do? The guy wins
I-
MVPs. Like,
But I want to see him under the lights on the big stage.
The guy
Yeah.
winning MVPs like Tom Brady wins Super Bowls. It's just every other year. It's just crazy.
I want to see him I want to see him on the big stage.
I did too. I mean, we saw like Harper, subpar in the
Right.
playoffs. Yeah, when it mattered, that's for sure. All right, that's enough bickering about that silly stuff. What do we have next? All right. Oh, there's a hurricane in Florida. Let's not forget
Hurricane in
that.
Florida.
There's sharks swimming in.
There's
in the
sharks
street.
swimming in the highways. I actually made a note of that.
Someone blew up the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. And
That's right.
if it's us, we're in World War III. No one's talking about it.
Yeah.
Joe Biden's looking for someone who's been dead for about a month.
Germany is absolutely blaming us for that. I mean, that directly
Yeah.
went to them.
They don't know any better.
So that's not good. Should be
Because
talking
we
about that.
it's because we tipped them off and they did nothing about it. Now they're looking for a scapegoat.
Oh, but how would we know that it was going to happen? And if we did, why didn't we do something to prevent it?
Well, I think they
If we
did.
truly,
Right?
if we truly knew, right? If we truly knew it was going to be attacked, why did we not do anything about it? Because Europe's going to freeze their balls off this year.
Yeah, but I mean that's
Because
you can't
they are
just go into
the
somebody
Washington
else's
said that.
airspace.
Yeah, well, it's
Drop
sea, but
divers
yeah,
and-
well, but I mean, we could have tried to do something, but either way, our response was get battery operated heat, so that will work for Europe.
Yeah.
Now that they've cut off all
I
natural
don't know.
gas.
Is that true? Because that pipeline's been shut off for like 2 years. They said.
No, it goes to Germany. It's been shut down and goes to Germany. And then Germany passes it. And then there's other stuff that goes to Poland. Either way, this war is going to cause an energy crisis and Putin's going to freeze people out. No one dies of heating people out. You die of freezing people out. It's going to get really cold in Europe this week. And all the crazy lunatics with their green energy. Let's see how that works. Because in order to make a battery charge, oh yeah, we need electricity.
He's going to announce Prima Nocta. So they did in Braveheart.
Prima Nocta. What is that? Like
Yeah,
the
Prima
movie
Nocta.
too?
If we can't drive them out, we'll breed them out.
Breathe them out, right?
Breed them out. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Never
right.
seen Braveheart.
That was our political minute.
We'll continue us on the Prove It Live Politics podcast. So Kevin, you are on Twitter like you are want to do.
I am on Twitter.
Yep. And
unfortunately.
So you made a post, and I'm not going to try to recite it because you'll know it better than I did, but it got us thinking about. I also had something recently from one of my players, who has been sold a bit of a bill of goods, and this arm care thing that I showed you, Kevin, right? And it's like this,
yep.
It's like this thing you get. It's a pad. I know Ben's used it, so you could speak about it a little bit. Where you press into it, and it's supposed to show you if you're, how weak or strong you are, and then it's going to give you the appropriate exercises, given that data, which the armbands that will be included in this set with the pad and the app. It's going to give you the appropriate exercises to strengthen your arm because, as they say, throwing is all about having a strong arm and strong rotator cuff.
That's it, man. That seems to be where it's going now. That the stronger your arm is, your rotator cuff, the less injuries you're going to have. And I just asked a simple question: do you think Steven Strasberg has a weak rotator cuff? Is that his problem?
Right.
As all these guys that are injured, you don't think that their shoulder is strong. And of course, then, these devices measure you in a non-functional position. What I mean by that is you're lying down.
Yeah, they'd be lying down or up against.
You're lying down up against, they're doing specific external rotation stuff in a non-functional position, right? So when you're on your feet and gravity and everything else changes how your scapula is, that's going to change your strength. It's a false sense of security. And again, so I had posted that you could squat 500 pounds. You can have your rotator cuffs stop a speeding train. But if your scapula isn't in your scapular humeral rhythm isn't a 3-to-2 ratio, you're going to get hurt, which means if you shrug, you're going to get hurt. Now, I can take any human being on the planet, put them in scapular depression, and their strength improves 50 times. Let them relax and let their upper traps engage, and they have no rotator cuff strength. So to test somebody in a single plane of movement, lying down, that's a false sense of security. And then not talk about arm path. And then when I ask these guys, okay, what about the scapulohumeral or scapulothoracic joint, which is the shoulder blades articulation with the back?
Nothing.
This is what I get. Hold on. Here's the answer I get.
I haven't gotten that far in my app yet.
That was a good time to hit the cricket button.
But I know. Well, I don't have. I'm at the office. I don't have a cricket button.
Okay.
So you can't. And we look at the kinetic chain. You can't talk about rotator cuff until you talk about the shoulder, the scapulothoracic joint. We have to talk about alignment of the cervical spine, alignment of the thoracic spine. It's not just rotator cuff strength. That is a complete false sense of security. But I will give it to these guys. They're great marketers, right? They can tell people this is the end all be all. And at the end of the day, this has been around. Guess what's still happening? Right. The injuries are still going up at an alarming rate.
So first of all, I just want to clarify because I thought for sure you were at our Prove It Live studios with the background you have. So I
Oh
didn't
yeah,
know.
no, it's just
why
my new.
I know you have a picture.
That's my new. Yeah, my new
So-
background.
So
Really confusing, isn't it?
it is.
It's like, wow, look at that.
Yeah. You also do kind of like that hat, because it's black, you can't see the depth. It almost looks like you
I'm
got
I'm
some Run
one with
DMC impersonation
I'm
going
one.
on, like a
Whoa,
Kangol.
whoa! Hey, wait a minute. Speaking of Run DMC, can we take our hats off because Coolio passed away
Yeah,
yesterday?
he did. He did. Yep. Gangster's Paradise. I know.
Gangster's Paradise. the
59
one-hit
years
wonder.
young. Yep. So getting back to what you said about this guy, you know what drives me crazy? So Kevin, when I was at your office the other day, I pulled up a video and there's a panel of these guys from Arm Care. Tom House was on it. They had like 5 people, all these and they just it's like they love just pumping each other up, like blowing smoke up each other's asses about
Yeah.
their knowledge about pitching. And then they talk about how they just, the open dialogue, we need open dialogue. And then if you say anything that's like contrary to what they have,
Mhm.
they shut down. They
I have-
completely shut down.
Probably 25 posts asking the Tom House people and the National Pitching Association why you are stopping natural movement of the body and dragging your foot.
Mhm.
Okay. You're stopping hip rotation. Why are you doing that? And I've never gotten a response, or I've gotten, you're an idiot. Well, no, I just want to know why are you dragging your foot? How is it increasing velocity? How is it increasing accuracy? How is it decreasing stress off the arm? What is it? And they're all over it. Oh, we gotta have the toe line, the toe drag
Yeah,
line.
the
It's gotta be
drive line.
straight. Why are you dragging something when we're trying to go forward as fast as we can or with the most speed?
I had a professor tell me one time, the first thing your response is an insult back to the person questioning you, 9 times out of 10 is because you're wrong and you have no defense.
Oh,
about it.
1,000%. They can't
Yeah.
debate. I just want to know, maybe there's a good reason. Maybe you think it's doing X, Y, and Z. Okay, it's injurious. I can tell you that. You can't, dragging your toe is nonsense. The leg wants to come forward because the body wants to do functional movements like walk, right? So when we plant our leg, the body wants to turn its hips, and if we're dragging our foot or leaving it there, like I saw one guy doing a towel drill on Instagram where his back foot was literally anchored to the mound as he goes and throws. Like, what are you doing? Thousands of views, thousands.
Well, that's the thing too.
Because these guys blow smoke up their ass. It's what you said. They all get in a little circle jerk ring, and they all tag each other, promote each other, and again, the injuries are going up through the roof. So whatever they're doing isn't working.
That's my number one point is, and what's messed up is it's so easy if you challenge them and they go, well, if they're doing exactly what I told them to do, they'd be fine, but they're doing things outside of they're pitching for numerous teams and all this other stuff. The reality is that, and again, nobody talks about how they're throwing the ball. All of those guys, I guarantee you, would still promote to turn your hand over, right? To force pronation, right? And point the ball away or get here, point it down. It's like it's something as simple as a neutral grip.
Yeah, I went back and forth with Scott Emerson or something. Either he's the current or former pitching coach of the A's. How can you say it's mechanics? How can I say it's mechanics?
How can you say it's not?
Right. Like, are you kidding? Because it's all the whole strength. Because you know what? It's a scapegoat.
Right.
Because strength we can blame on the player. Right? We can, his arm wasn't strong enough. He didn't do his work. He didn't do it. But you taught him to do this ridiculous inverted W. You can't throw the ball in pronation. The arm has got to supinate. Why are you doing this?
Torque.
Yeah, torque. Hip to shoulder separation. All this other nonsense.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody earlier today on the phone. It was one of the parents, and I was talking about how so we've mentioned in the show before about how these guys just want to sound like scientists, it's not getting enough, thoracic extension and it's contralateral tilt. Like what? Like, shut up. Like, how about just hold the ball in a neutral position, you dummy? Like, stop. Right.
Everything's taken care of.
I got a tweet back on my tweet. Can you explain this to us dummies? No, I'm not going to explain it because you're teaching pitching and you have no idea what the scapulohumeral rhythm is. Why don't you look it up? I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you what it's because you're showing me word salad in your advertisement about how how your mechanics and your science and your this, but the basic movement of the scapula, you don't know what it's called. Gee.
So why is it? Why do you think there's such a resistance? Or I don't know if it's a resistance. It almost has to be at this point, right? And like a concerted effort to not look at arm path.
It's their livelihood. They know it. They have to know it, Michael. They have to know. No kid, no child, no little kid in the world picks up a ball for the first time to throw it and gets in a W. No one.
Yeah.
No one. They pick it up and throw it like a pie.
Yeah.
Right? No one.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why are you doing this? For what reason? Why are you
dragging?
dragging?
It's kind of what I was explaining to you the other day. Is like if you just take a little kid who's never played before, most of the time their mechanics are just like flawless because they just do what's natural.
Yeah,
they squat,
I agree
squat,
with throwing. Yes.
They squat correctly. They walk correctly. Yes, and they're taught how to do these inane, stupid things.
Yeah,
and then you look at people who are injured, right? So someone, and we probably should get this Justin Nolander or whatever his name is on the DVI guy on the show, but he had a picture of Strasburg in like 2009, 2011 to now, and the guy's mechanics does not change.
No,
the guy's blown his arm out 52 times. You'd think they'd be like, maybe this isn't working. He signed a $70 million contract. He's pitched 30 innings of that $70 million contract.
No, because when we talked about that with him, guys like him, it's an investment, just like any other. There's risk involved, right? So you're hoping, look, you change him, maybe his velo goes down, maybe he's not the same pitcher. When he's healthy, right? That he's not currently injured. He can perform, right? I mean, he's a good pitcher. So like that's all they want. They wouldn't dare go to him and tell him to change his arm path, which is
it's like stocks, man.
Yeah,
they're betting on stocks. They're shorting it. They're doing, and that's what these pitchers are just commodities.
Yeah, and by the way, that's fine at the big league level, but it's hurting kids because kids are seeing that, and the coaches are emulating the coaches at the big league level, and they're not changing kids when they have the chance to fix them early on, and that's
the key. That is the key, and because I mean, I don't know how many relievers Tampa Bay has gone through. But every one guy's throwing 97, he gets hurt, next guy up because there's another guy down there, and their philosophy is that they've said just throw it as hard as you can, and But we can talk about how this chase for velocity is not making pitchers better. I mean, we go back to Jim Palmer, speaking of the Baltimore Orioles, have a player look at one season of Jim Palmer would take 3 seasons for a major league or more, because first of all, no one in the major leagues is going to ever have 20 complete games unless it's on like Nintendo, right? I mean, this guy, through over 300 innings, 15 to 20 complete games every year for 15 years. That's not, you're never going to see that. And he won, and he had an ERA that was boom. And guess what? Guys had the batting average of over 300. So guys were hitting. They weren't hitting 65 home runs, but they were hitting the ball. So, I mean, pitching has definitely gotten when you start a World Series game and it's a good start if your starter makes 4 innings. When Jack Morris threw 10 shutout innings in a playoff game, we have a problem.
Yeah.
Is there a correlation between all the arm velo going up and all the home runs also going up?
I would think that the faster the ball comes in and meets that bat, right? I would think that there's less force has to be applied.
But I can't remember a time when I've seen more like missed spots, like more balls down the middle of the plate, belt high fastballs. And these guys, like you see, saw some of them train, and it's just like everything they have. And, sorry, there's no way that you're not giving up some aspect of control when you do that. And, and I'm sure most of their career they could do that. It doesn't matter where it is in the plate because no one's hitting it anyway. But in the big leagues, those guys can hit that ball. And I mean, I see it all the time. Like you see the catcher setting up outside and, literally missing all the way on the other side of the plate. Now that happens to any pitcher, right, during their career, but I've never seen it happen more than it is now when I watch baseball games. So there's there's an increase in velocity. I think there's a major decrease in command. major decrease in command. Stuff in general,
and different pitches, right? There's, I mean, guys, they're off speed pitches or their secondary pitches, they can't throw for strikes.
right?
Have you seen that Jake Savicki or whatever his name is all over? He's every time he goes and taps into all the velocity programs or pitchers throwing bullpens, and they're like showing how hard they're throwing on the radar gun, but every single pitch is a ball, and he just copies himself. He's like, "That's not a strike. That's a ball. That's a ball." And no one throws any strikes.
Yeah,
But they're all pumped up about how hard they're throwing.
That's it. It's true. I mean, and what stinks about it is I was just talking about one of like our pitchers that we have in our program. He's a really good little left-handed pitcher. He's a sophomore in high school. And he makes good hitting teams look really bad. And he's probably going to get to like low 80s. He'll probably get to like 82, maybe 83. And he'll play at some, D3 college, but he's going to be one of those kids where you have to almost sell him to a college coach, because it's, they see the same thing that we do on social media. They see kids lighting up the gun and, and jumping up and down, and the kids that can actually pitch and that have command in all three pitches and, have developed into pitchers, they'll get seen if they also have the velocity. But if they don't have that benchmark velocity, it's like they don't even get looked at anymore, which is just sad. I mean, these are like kids that are capable. At the end of the day, you're a college coach, you want to win games. You got a kid who can help you win games 100%, probably better than half the guys on your staff that you currently have. And he'd get overlooked because he's not lighting up the radar gun. And that's too bad. Like that stinks. I mean, look, you obviously need a certain velocity. I mean, you can't be out there throwing 67 miles an hour, right?
No,
obviously. It doesn't matter what corners you're hitting, but it's there's so many things attached to it, and its overall quality is just.
And for me, and what I look at too is the disparity between pitches. When you throw a 97 mile an hour fastball and your changeup is 92, that's not doing anything other than speeding someone's bat up. I mean,
Right.
That's like, or everything it's the same. They're not changing eye level because they can't throw a 12-6 curveball. So everything's just the same level. It's just spinning left or right. And these guys are getting shelled.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie.
No, I know. And the constant thing about it is just it's back to the old. It's pitch count. It's you're not strong enough. You're playing on too many teams, whatever. I don't buy the playing on too many things. I've even agreed with it in the past, but the more I think about it, I don't even think that's such a big deal. Again, because you had guys that would, you go back to, pitchers throwing on 3 days rest all the time, like for an entire career. So, I don't developing arms. Yeah, they're different. I get that, but it comes down to the stuff that we're teaching for the velocity is not equaling healthy pitching. And you have these panels of people that claim to do, well, we're going to teach you to throw really, really hard and keep you throwing healthy. They don't have the formula to claim you have the formula when it's the same formula that you see is being used by the big leaguers and down through little league and all the injuries that continue to go up. Like, how can you claim that? You can't. So something's got to be done. I'm all for the neutral grip. That's at a basic
100%.
level.
100%.
Pitched all of college with the neutral grip.
Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right. What do we got for we got some videos.
Yes. Let me share my screen here and get those up. Some very wonderful. Why would you do that?
Yeah, we do have some fun ones.
All right. So we have the first one. Mike, you can probably explain more of this. And then the teacher man, our friend, the teacher man post.
Yes, this is obligatory. We have to have at least one teacher man.
Oops.
Every
What's
episode.
happening? Oh, sorry about that. Hold on. There it is. So this is this, you can probably explain this better than I can.
Yeah.
Of why this is this kind of, I don't know, graphic or something. Like what's going on with this?
Yeah. So she's talking about, the degrees of at impact, right? So he's talking about the barrel. One of them has only like 13 degrees of downward angle, right, from the hands. What happened in the video? Lost
I
it.
don't know. Keep going. I'll get it back.
And the other one has 28 degrees. And of course, he's promoting the 28 degree. It's not wrong. Okay. Now it says bat speed 71.8 versus, I think, 70. I can't see 76.7 or something.
Mm,
Exit velocity 101 versus 100. But again, he's claiming that this person's wrong. The overlay that he's using, you can't compare the two. One of them, the red, is clearly, if this is solid contact and the numbers show that it is clearly a pitch that's down and towards the outer third of the plate. The one that's the, natural color is clearly up and in. And so your bat angle is never going to be the same from pitch to pitch. It's just not. Like, pitch location is going to change your batting. In fact, it should, right? So when you shouldn't change your swing from pitch to pitch, your bat angle changes. So if the pitch is up, my barrel stays here. Pitch is down, I turn my top hand over and let the barrel drop. So it's just more smoke and mirror crap from him. It drives me crazy every time I see it, because he's so arrogant about when he posts something. He's so like, look at this. Oh, you guys are wrong. Aaron Judge.
Yeah. So again,
Aaron Judge.
The claim to fame is, Aaron Judge, and we just so happen to have yet another video of Aaron Judge here. Let's get this up here. Whoops. I don't know what's going on here with this.
Here's the 3-1.
Oh, we have sound. So here's Aaron Judge on a home run. It's
black
we have there it is. It's a red square over his hips, because you're going to see as he does this what moves first, and it is as he loads, his hands naturally go back as he plants his front foot. Okay, with all his weight on it. Oh my God, look at that. The belt is moving. Is the belt moving, or is the hands flipping backwards like the ding dong professes? No, the belt is moving, right? Which would mean his hips, which is what every normal hitting instructor on the planet would teach, not snapping your wrist and whatever the heck he does. And yeah, right. Aaron Judge, and you can see his belt buckle at the finish here is probably pointing to the third base coach, or maybe even the third baseman.
Yep.
That's it. That's a home run.
And I should say, right, so we didn't make this video. Someone else pointed this out, right? So I thought it was good to point out. And this whole idea of, like, this is some, earth-shattering, mystical information that Teacher Man has by the barrel going backwards. When you're rotating to deliver your barrel in the zone, it has to have a bit of a backwards path before it goes into the zone. I hope no one is doing this, right? That old, like, inside. Yeah. I mean, that's like early aughts, like,
got to create
cookie
some sort
cutter
of bat lag.
Yeah. You have to have, you want it's got to come behind everything. So again, just more of him just thinking that he's got the secret sauce. He doesn't.
Everybody's doing it wrong. Does that make them right?
Right. Exactly.
Now our last one,
right
we
is right,
have
even if I
the
was
Saturday Night Fever. We have a bunch of PVC pipes tied to a poor child, and her butt is touching a hurdle behind her.
Her parents probably paid money for this.
Yeah.
And so literally, and she's got like bands around her. She's literally tied up to this thing here.
Could you imagine just the prep? It's got to mean, if this is a half hour lesson, 20 of it's gone just from getting dressed for it, right?
Right. And she's holding this PVC pipe and rubbing her butt cheek to cheek against this hurdle, which I guess is teaching her. I'm not sure what.
Well, I think the idea is to go from like right glute to left glute, right glute to left glute, and that's going to indicate some sort of hip turn. But again, look at the poor girl's feet. She's on the outside of her feet on both. You can even see space underneath her front foot.
She stands up, right?
Yep.
She goes from a flexed knee, now she's standing up, so she's losing power off that back glute.
Right. And I don't know, what are those? What's the bands around her knee for? And then she has them on her feet too.
Yeah, it's around her feet, and the pipe is tied to her inside into her back knee as she's doing this. I mean, this is just
there's actually no, unless the middle band is just to make sure the PVC pipe doesn't go flying forward.
Yeah, maybe.
There's no point to that middle band.
And you'll see here to date, or as of the 27th of September, this had 6,637 views.
And you can just imagine how many people are out there doing this drill right now because they watch this video with their students. And it's like, what do we do? And again, I didn't, maybe it was there, so I don't want to like speak out of turn, but I didn't see an explanation of exactly number one, what it is they were doing, and number two, why you couldn't accomplish that without having some homemade PVC contraption with like a bunch of like elbow joints and everything, having bands around the knees, bands around the feet, and having a hurdle up against it. Like,
Imagine
no
like
other way to do that.
Imagine setting up that drill and then her taking like 5 swings without all that stuff and be like, "No, we got to go back to the drill." Like put all that stuff back on.
It's horrible. Horrible.
Take another 20 minutes, put that on. Oh,
Mm.
you're
Yeah.
done. Your lesson's over.
That's it. Give me $150.
Come back next week.
Right.
Like, I don't know, like, what are people doing? What are you like? What are you doing? Why would you do that?
Why would you
Like,
do that?
Seriously.
I don't know. All right. Well, I think that wraps up another good show. Michael, good luck in your move. I can't wait to see
Thanks.
what the new studio looks like.
Yeah.
The new
Well,
dig.
you'll see on Saturday. You're gonna help me move, just like Ben and
Oh,
said.
I am.
I'm gonna have to get a home studio so these
I got a
rugrats in
bad-
here
I-
keep
I got a
quiet.
bad knee, ankle, whatever. Yeah. So again, please visit us, proveitlive.com and like or subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then email the show at info@proveitlive.com. And toodaloos for until next week.
Toodles.